Okay, so in this video what we're going to be looking at is converting between metric units. Now, why is this important? Well, if you're in a science class, science lab, or let's say working within those areas, science, math, and let's say engineering, it is important for you to understand metric units because different values are often expressed in the metric unit system. Okay, so this is why it's important. So let's look at the different units within, or the different prefixes first within the metric units. And some of the most common ones that you may encounter, I'll go ahead and write, you may encounter kilo, hecto, deca, and I'll leave a blank here, and we'll talk about why we left that blank in a minute. Hold on 1 minute. Alright, there we go. And you also may have deci. You may have centi, or not you may have, you will have centi, that's another common one. And milli. All right. Now these six, I remember based off of what a little rhyme, I guess you can say, is a way to remember these six from a middle school teacher. And the way that she told us to remember this is to say that kids have dropped dead converting metrics, and that would at least give us these six here. The reason that we have the blank in here is this is the area where you have your base units. Okay, and those base units may be, let's say, grams if you're measuring mass. There you may have meters. Let's see, you may also have volts if you're measuring volts, or amps if you're measuring current. Now you may encounter different ones in lab in addition to these. Okay, just know that this, in terms of when you're thinking about the metric system, this is where those units stand in terms of their place. Okay. All right. Some other units or prefixes for the units that you may also have are micro. And this is the Greek letter mu over here. Micro. You also may have nano. And you may also encounter pico. Okay. I'm going to underline these three over here and I'll explain a little bit. In some cases, according to where you're working, what environment you're working in, you may also encounter mega. You may also encounter giga, and I'm underlining these also, and you may also encounter tera. Okay, and again I'll come back to those in a little bit. Alright, so we may use these prefixes, the tera, the giga, the mega, the kilo, the hecto, the deca, deci, centi, milli, micro, nano, and pico in order to represent some units of a measurement that you may have taken. So let's say, for example, you may have a kilo and you combine them together. This is the prefix kilo with the base unit meters, and you may have kilometers. You may have, let's say, a milligram, so that would be M-I-L-I gram, okay, for units of something that you're measuring. So really here again, remember the initial problem was how do we actually convert between these different units, okay? So I'm going to put a box around these here first, and these are the ones without the underline through them, and we'll get back to that underline a little bit. I still promise you on that one. Alright, so let's say for instance you have 10 grams, and we're just going to use G for that. Okay, and you're asked to convert from 10 grams to, let's say, kilograms. So we're going to use kg for that. All right. Question is, how do you go about converting from grams to kilograms? Well, in this setup that we had up here, what you're going to do is find where grams is, and grams is a base unit. Okay, and if we want to go to kilograms, kilograms is over here. So what this indicates is, at least in this box, again we'll talk about the stuff on the outside, in this box this indicates the amount of moves that we have to make in order to get to kilograms. Right, so let's say if we wanted to get from grams to kilograms, we'll have to jump from grams 1 time, 2 times, 3 times in order to get to kilograms. Okay, and notice the direction in which we're actually moving. We're actually moving towards our left. So because we're moving towards our left and we have to move 3 times, in terms of our kilograms or grams to kilograms move here, or conversion, we want to move the decimal point in the same direction, the same number of hops. Okay, so we have 10 with the decimal point here, and remember this is grams, right? And remember we're moving 3 times, we're moving 3 times to the left. So this says we have to move 1, 2, 3. So this is the new location of the decimal point, and we fill in a 0 here because there isn't a 0 here, there's a 1 here, there's a 0. Okay, and what this tells us then, that this is our units for the kilograms, and that this is the units and the value for the kilograms. So in this blank up here, 0.010 is the number of kilograms required, or the number of kilograms that will be equal to 10 grams. All right. Okay, let's take a look at another example. Let's say we have we're asked to go from 10 centimeters, and we're asked to find the value, what's equal to that in millimeters. Okay, mm is millimeters, centimeters cm. All right, so again we go up to our chart up here. We're starting from centimeters, so that's right here, and we're going towards millimeters, which is here, and the number of hops we need to take in order to get to millimeters is 1 hop. All right, so 1 hop going to the right. So because it's 1 hop going to the right, we write 10 with the decimal point is understood to be here, and then we have to make 1 hop, so that we move the decimal point over here instead, so it's no longer here, and we put a 0 into this this divot here. So what this says then is that 10 centimeters would be equal to 100 millimeters. Okay, so 10 centimeters is equal to 100 millimeters. All right, so we've talked about the stuff inside of the box here at the top. Okay, what about the stuff out here in terms of our prefixes out here outside the boxes, the box on both sides? Well, these units, unlike the ones inside the box, it's a 1 place jump in order to get from one prefix to the other prefix. Out here, it's a 3 place jump in order to get from one prefix to another prefix. So if I'm going towards the right, I have to move from here, from micro to nano. I'll have to make 3 prefix jumps in order to get to nano. Not prefix jump, but 3 jumps in order to get to nano. And I'll show you how this works. So let's say, for instance, through an example, let's say, for instance, we have 10 picofarads, and we're asked to convert that. All right, 10 picofarads, and we're asked to convert that to, let's say, nanofarads. So we want to know how many nanofarads. All right, so 10, the decimal point is understood to be here, and because it's a 3 place jump between the pico, all right, and the nano, okay, that means we have to move decimal point 3 times going in this direction towards our left. All right, so we go 1, 2, 3. Put the 0 here, put the new location of decimal point there. So what that says then is that, so this is in nanofarads. So that says then that, and I guess I didn't have to put this part. That says then that 0.010 nanofarads is equal to the 10 picofarads, all right? 0.01 nanofarads is equal to the 10 picofarads. So, and we had to move the decimal point towards the left because we had to move from pico over to nano, going towards the left. Okay? So that's how the conversions are done in when you're converting from one unit to another in metric units. Let's say, for instance, you have a number that's expressed in scientific notation. So your number is, in this case, so we're doing an additional example or two here. Okay, let's say your number is 5.0 times 10 to the 8, and let's make the units millimeters. Okay, didn't exactly erase cleanly, but I think you can at least see through it. So we're making this millimeters, all right, and we're asked to convert that now over to just simply meters. Okay, now if you're not very comfortable with this, probably the easiest way to do this would be to expand the changes from scientific notation, which would make this then 5, and since it's times 10 to the 8, that means there's 8 zeros at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, then we say we're going from millimeter to meters, and if we go up here to the top, millimeters is over here, meters is over here. We need to make 1, 2, 3 jumps in order to get to meters, 3 jumps to the left. So that makes this then 1, 2, 3. This is a new location of the decimal point. All right, so this is what it would be equal to in meters. If we want to convert that back to scientific notation, that would be 5.0 then times 10 to the n. Let's count the number of zeros to the left of the decimal point, and that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be to the 5th. Okay, so what that says then is that if we're moving, okay, if we're asked to move from a unit that's on the right and we're going to one to the left, so we're moving towards our left direction there, what that says then is that I can subtract the number of jumps that I need to make from the actual power itself, because you see we made 3 jumps to the left in order to get from millimeters to meters. So that means then that I can just subtract 3 from that 8, and that will give me times 10 to the 5th. Okay, so then what that seems to say then is that if we wanted to then go, let's say, to the right instead, okay, meaning we have to jump towards the right, then what we'd be doing is adding 3. Okay, what we'd be doing is adding 3. So let's say, for instance, we had to move, and I'm actually going to add an additional not lesson but thing in here. So we want to go from 5 times 10 to the second centimeters over to, let's say, micrometers. Okay, so that's from centimeters to micrometers. That means we have to make 1 jump within the box, okay, and then we need to make 3 jumps outside of the box. So that's 1 jump in the box, 3 jumps outside the box. So that's 4 jumps to the left. So we can then say 4 jumps to the right, pardon me. So we can then say that this then, since minus was going in this direction, that means plus is going in the opposite direction, going towards the right. So then this would be equal to then 5 times 10 to the 6th. All right. So that is our demonstration on converting between metrics. You can find more information on my website or on my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.